Today's question is, how do you address the woulda, coulda, shouldas?
That's a really good question.
How should we address this?
How should we address? Ah! Do you feel like the little old men in the Muppets now? Like the old geezers who sit in the back of the theater and heckle everybody?
No.
That's how I feel.
You feel like that?
Yes. I want to heckle you a lot. Say something so I can
Do you want to be
heckle
old and male and a puppet?
it.
Is that what you want?
I've been accused of being a Muppet before.
Accused?
Accused of being a
Someone
Muppet
actually
before.
Like someone said you're a Muppet and you said no and they didn't believe you?
Well, I never refused that claim because I feel like I do greatly resemble a Muppet.
So no one suggested you were a Muppet. They actually outright.
They just outright
you
said
are a Muppet.
You're a Muppet. Exactly.
And I don't believe you. Sorry.
Okay, so accused was the wrong word there. He's a wordsmith and it's annoying.
I'm not a wordsmith. I'm a word. What's the opposite of a smith? Someone who just destroys things.
Smiths sort of destroy things.
I'm a word mangler.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
All right. How do you address? Do you want to start?
Sure. I have a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, and everybody does. That's part of the human condition, I think. Even just this morning, I went for a walk around 7, and I was walking for about an hour, and I would say a solid 35 minutes of that hour was spent thinking, God, should I do this? Should I do that? How should I deal with my life in this particular moment right now? Should I have dealt with it differently 2 years ago? If I had dealt with it differently 2 years ago, would it be different now? That kind of thing. And that's just, it's a waste of energy is what it is. It is a pure waste of energy. I guess you can tease out some constructive pieces of it in terms of, sometimes if you find yourself thinking of a specific woulda, coulda, shoulda, often it's like, well, that's pointing you towards something. Maybe that is something that you should spend some time on, or maybe it's something you should let go. But I think there are constructive, more constructive ways to think about it. But in terms of what to actually do with the woulda, coulda, shouldas, what?
No, go on.
Okay. No, I'm thrown off. What was I going to say? It was going to be brilliant. It was going to be magical. It was going to be insightful, and now it's gone. I blame him.
Okay, so we'll make notes.
Okay.
So one of the I talked about dating before, and one of the side effects of dating is that you get to have all these interesting conversations with complete strangers that don't want to sleep with you.
Yes.
And let me tell you, that is, one of the best conversations I had with a complete stranger who didn't want to sleep with me was, she was talking about her life coach, who said that every time you have the ups and downs in life, and you've got to look at the downs as opportunities, because whenever something falls apart, there's always something is opening, even if it's our perception that it's going down. It's not. It's just shifting. We don't like the shift, so look for what opens up in the shift. Whenever you're feeling down and like, oh, I should have this, I should have that. Well, no, look at where you're at and look at change is uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And I think woulda, shoulda, coulda comes out of our discomfort with change and transformation. Transformation is necessarily uncomfortable. And ask yourself, what, I understand, like if your house burns down, that's, I probably shouldn't have, lit the carpet on fire. That was bad judgment,
That was bad planning on
Bad
Tuesday morning.
Bad planning.
Yep.
But if you wanted to go extreme, I would say, well, your house burned down, and like your life is going to change a lot, and it's going to change a lot. And in 2 years, chances are, provided nobody died in the house burning down, you're going to be saying, wow, I wouldn't trade this for anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, yeah.
Woulda, coulda, shouldas involve a lot of trust, I think, because in order to let go of those woulda, coulda, shouldas, you have to trust that your life is where it should be. And I think that is a very hard thing for us. There was a better word than thing, but whatever. That's a very hard thing for us to address, because we all, part of being human is also to desire things. You push yourself because of desire. We make new strides in technology and philosophy and art because we desire to create something, or we desire to make a change. And so, it's hard to trust that you're in the right place at the right time, I think sometimes, but I think often, and this is also tricky to talk about, but I think a reason that we sometimes don't get what we want when we want it is, one, we're not in control of the timing. It's very hard to control time. Mm-hmm. It's basically impossible. If you've figured it out, please let me know. But if there's something we want that we don't have yet, it's often because there's still something we need to learn in order to be ready for that thing to appear. And I hate that, especially like, in terms of when I was dating or, right now in terms of work. Like there are things that I want or wanted, and having someone say, oh, well, you're just not ready for it yet. I want to smack you. I don't like that. But I think it's often true. And so, woulda, coulda, shouldas need a lot of trust. Just like, okay, so this is where my life, or even just like, hey, this is where my life is right now in this present moment.
Mm-hmm.
What do I want to do? What can I do? What do I have the capacity to do? What is best for me now? And sometimes, honestly, what's best is to just let go of every woulda, coulda, shoulda you have and go take a nap.
And I'm going to add to the trust thing. I think the trust thing is really important because when we trust, we're at our best. We're centered, we're focused.
I like that too.
Like I don't prepare at all for these sessions.
No, I don't either. We just look at the question. We're like, okay, turn it on.
And like, I show up and I do I work at Foundations Recovery, IOP in San Francisco, which is a fantastic clinic. And I work in addiction, and I have these groups which are really, really intense. And I plan for them, but ultimately when I walk into that room, I have no idea what's going to happen ultimately. And I really have to leave that open, the trust. Like, did I prepare enough? Should I have blah, 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 blah? No, you're fine. And invariably, when I take that attitude, I'm at my best. I can prepare all I want. I can have all the preparation in the world. And if I go in there with a bunch of woulda, coulda, shouldas and I'm off center, I will do a bad job.
That's a really good point, because the woulda, coulda, shouldas do really knock you off center because you're doubting yourself. You're feeling like you should be better. You should be different. You would be better or different had you done something else that was better and different another time. And that's basically just pulling yourself out of your own centered power. And that's another phrase I really don't like. Pulling me out of my power. What does that even mean? But nobody knows. But when you feel it, because you do feel like, okay, whatever happens right now, I can handle it.
Good. Fiend.
Fiend.
Fin.
Fiend.
Is it fiend or fin?
It's, I don't know.